Hold on to your hats. From WDW Magic, imagine that. Orlando is breaking visitor records as Disney World bookings point to a stronger 2026. Notice, however, the change in tense here. For the English teachers out there, you're going to love this video, okay? I can't tell you the number of high school English teachers who watch this show, and they're about to have a great time saying, see, I told you my class was important. Pay attention to grammar. Orlando breaks visitor record, okay? Now, how did they break the visitor record? Because in the past tense, they did something which caused the visitor record to become broken. And so they broke it. Disney World bookings point to. What is that, folks? What is point to? Well, it's a substitute future tense phrase. It's pointing to the future, but it's all using present tense verbs to kind of hide it. I love this, right? So what happened really? Orlando broke the visitor record in the last year. Disney World did not. Its attendance went down. How is WDW Magic reframing that? The bookings currently are pointing to a stronger 2026 for Disney World. But guess what? There's a delta. There's a negative delta. Orlando attendance went up. Orlando visitor records were broken. Disney attendance dropped. We know that from the Josh Tomorrow thing where Disney dropped 1% in the domestic parks. And that's even with maybe some smoke and mirrors. Let's get to the article. It says Orlando welcomed more visitors in 2025 than at any point in its history, according to new data released by Visit Orlando on May 7th. The destination recorded 76.7 million visitors last year, a 1.8% increase over 2024, and the highest total ever reported for the region. By the way, we believe 2024 was the second highest, right? So this is a steady climb. It says the growth was driven almost entirely by domestic visitors. Domestic visitation rose 2.2% to reach 70 million, itself a record. Visits by Floridians increased 3.4%, though the overall domestic mix remained predominantly out-of-state travelers. Overnight visitation held firm, accounting for 70% of domestic visitors, or 49.2 million travelers, up 1.8% year over year. That remaining 30% may have just been from South Carolinians dropping on down to Jacksonville. I don't know, but it's rather difficult to drive from out of state to Orlando and then back again. You're really pulling something off there. That is a meaningful figure for the theme parks. Overnight guests tend to spend more, stay longer, and visit the parks on multiple days. It goes on to talk about international visitation, which was soft, and we believe it'll be even more soft going into 2026. Canada, just they're angry, okay? The 51st state is very unhappy about being called that. I would never say it. I'm just quoting the news, okay? You've got UK, though, is up. Brazil is up. Mexico's up. Colombia, who knew, is up. But Canada, way, way, way down. Okay, now here's the deal. We can go through this. It's all very interesting. But what do we know from Josh Tomorrow? We know that Disney World attendance is down. So how in the world did Disney World, the biggest tourist destination in Florida, how did that go down and Florida went up? Well, boys and girls, what do we know about Universal Studios? What do we know about their records? Well, they broke records with Epic Universe. So in the last Disney earnings report, Disney finally admitted, hey, we've got what they're calling headwinds with Epic Universe. Ron, I'll go to you first on this one. With record-breaking attendance in Florida, record-breaking attendance at Universal Studios, and Disney going the opposite way, is it time for us to say maybe Disney needs to change strategies?
Well, I think part of the problem for Disney right now is they're attempting to change strategies. And what do I mean by that? Everything's under construction. There are so many walls up at Disney.
Okay, but the problem, Ron, is nobody is really excited for what's behind those construction walls, except in Animal Kingdom.
It's true. That is true. There's not a lot that they're bringing to the table. There's a lot of reimagining, a word I absolutely hate. It's retheming. And
set aside too, Ron. Okay, so like when I say that people are not excited for anything that's under construction except Animal Kingdom, which is the Encanto area, set aside Rivers of America. Just set that aside for a minute. I don't know of anybody who is in my chat. I mean, listen, we talk to millions of people on any month, right? We have millions of people who watch our videos. We have tons and tons of people who read the articles. There's not been a single comment. There's not been a single super chat. There's not been a single guest who has said, boy, I can't wait for that Monsters roller coaster to open in Hollywood Studios. Nobody seems to be excited about that. And there's not been one person who said, definitely not one person who said, boy, that glob, that Monsters Inc. show that's going in Muppet Vision. Oh, I can't wait. Woo, we got to get, you think we could sneak in there and get a photo? Nobody cares about this stuff.
No, it was interesting when I was out there at Hollywood Studios the other day, and I saw, I did a construction update. It's on the channel, and it was May the 4th. It was the busiest that I'd ever seen at Galaxy's Edge, and it was Disney World, not Disneyland. And I believe, and I said this in my video, I believe when I was out there that this was the way that Disney had hoped Galaxy's Edge would be every day of the year, and then busier on the 4th of July. Sorry, on May the 4th. So May the 4th, Star Wars Day, it should be, it should be packed. Chewbacca had a bit of a line and a very strange hairdo, but that's beside the point. But then I went over, and the Mandalorian and Grogu were doing a meet and greet, and the line was like much shorter for, in other words, even on the busiest of days, it still wasn't as busy as I think Disney would have liked it to have been. And a lot of the busyness was in Galaxy's Edge. Once you went out of Galaxy's Edge, there were, it was pretty easy to get around. Wait times were typical. There's not a lot of rides in Hollywood Studios, so the wait times are typically around 35, 45 minutes or so. And that's without, Lightning Lane. I have no idea what the Lightning Lane waits were. But Epic Universe is so different. Epic Universe is new, but Epic Universe has also done something for the Universal parks in general. It has allowed people to come in, see what they're doing at Epic, and go, you know what? If Epic is this good, what are the other parks like? And then they see Islands of Adventure, and Islands of Adventure is amazing. And then they're also upgrading the Universal Studios park, and the new roller coasters going in there, and they're just like, Universal has, in fact, and this is undeniable, upped their game when it comes to theme park competition in Orlando.
But I'll just tell you, Ron, like when you go into the Harry Potter area of Epic Universe,
yeah.
I looked around. I have been to Paris. I've been to Paris on multiple occasions. There are things about Paris that I like. There are things about Paris that I don't like. Talk about the real Paris. Mm-hmm. I walked in here and I said, I'll be darned. It's like pretty close to the real Paris, just Harry Potter-fied. Like, it doesn't feel like a theme park necessarily. It does. There aren't cars and there's not graffiti, but I looked around and said, it's pretty good. It's pretty darn good.
There's also a tremendous difference with the way that Universal has approached these intellectual properties versus Disney. Okay, so they had the opportunity to make Galaxy's Edge the place every Star Wars fan truly wanted to go. And it's such a letdown compared to what it should be. So when you go into any of the Wizarding World's Harry Potter's lands, whether it's at Epic or Diagon Alley at Universal or Hogsmeade at Islands of Adventure, you feel like you have walked into the movie. It's so real. The first time we were at Diagon Alley, my wife literally said, "Is this where they filmed the movie? Because this looks just like the movie." If I remember correctly, the actors from the movie, from Harry Potter, when they were there, they said this actually looks more real than the actual sets we filmed on. So that's incredibly cool. Then you go to Galaxy's Edge and you're like, I've never seen any of this in a Star Wars movie. Yeah, the Millennium Falcon is parked here, but it's not someplace that I feel like I'm connecting. There's that disconnect. It's emotional. It's visceral. When you go into the Harry Potter land, there's this visceral connection as a fan that you have with the movies. I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I can still feel it. And all I'm trying to say is they are doing so many things right. And Disney should lean into what makes Disney Disney. And they did the exact opposite of that when they destroyed the Rivers of America. The Rivers of America, it was so uniquely Disney because it gave people something historical about America to enjoy while they're in the parks and not even realize that you're actually also learning lessons when you go there. There's an edutainment about it that you don't even realize that you're experiencing when you're there. What the heck is the cars thing gonna do? You're gonna go be on a dirt track. Oh wow. And by the way, there's a couple people that have posted lately. This is very, very frustrating to me. Pictures as they've flown over the Magic Kingdom on their way into or out of Orlando, and I've like captured these pictures, and from there, it's not like a bioreconstruct photo. I mean, this is thousands of feet overhead, so you can see the entire land, and you can see all of the land around the Magic Kingdom that Disney had available that they did not have to get rid of, the rivers of America, and it's so bothersome to me.
Oh, absolutely. MJ, I mean, Ron lays out a great case for Epic Universe and for Universal Studios. I think it's even beyond that, though. I think a lot of people are going to Florida for other things, for the beaches, for, go stop by Daytona, go down to the Everglades. I mean, all across Florida, from the top, to the bottom. Yeah. And I think that they're doing so at the same time, because if attendance to Florida went up by 2% more and attendance at Disney dropped by 1% or more, then that's, there's a significant number of families who are saying, we don't really have to do Disney this year. Or maybe they're just saying it's too expensive.
Yeah, well, we're going to come up to a year this month for Epic's 1-year birthday. It's been open a whole year, guys. Can you imagine? The attendance, for sure, they've kept it at under control, in my opinion. They haven't gone crazy. I don't think they've opened all their doors, right, if you will. I'm just hypothetically speaking. But I really think because Florida is so amazing and full of things to do for the whole family, such as theme parks like SeaWorld, you have Gatorland, a lot of water parks. Volcano Bay continues to be, I think, the #1 water park. I think me and Ron were just talking about that the other day. But people in the last couple of years are really leaning towards going on cruises, family cruises, and probably coming down to the great state of Florida for the Port Canaveral and Fort Lauderdale, Miami. I'm not sure, but there is a lot to do. You're right. The Everglades, we have a lot of really good zoos. So Disney's numbers are dropping. It doesn't shock me. There's a lot of other things to do. And Ron, you did make great points with Epic Universe. Everyone has to remember it's still in its infant stage. It has a lot of growing and developing to do, and they are sprucing up the park more and more. They're coming across different things that need to be getting the kinks out of the way. That's a better way to put it. But there's a lot to look forward to. There's going to be a nighttime show, fireworks. So people are probably also saving up their money for the 1-year birthday of Epic celebration. I'm just saying. I don't know.
No, I'm with you. And what's fascinating to me is there's this political argument that the very red state of Florida has just done too much damage to its perception. That Ron DeSantis, he's the reason Disney is struggling. It's like, well, then why is the state more popular than ever for vacationing, but Disney isn't benefiting from that? And so I think we're starting to see the answer. The answer is Epic Universe. There's nothing else. Epic Universe is just drawing in, and that's what they admitted in that earnings call. Epic Universe is doing what it's supposed to do. The problem for Disney is they're trying to play catch up with Epic Universe with expansions that people aren't that interested in. Now, I know some people in chat have said, I'm excited about the Monsters thing. Sure. Are you as excited about the Monsters roller coaster or the Glob? Or are you as excited about the Encanto dark ride as you are Super Mario in Nintendo World? Or the possibility of a Zelda expansion at said Nintendo World? If you're not as excited about Monsters or Encanto as you would be Zelda, then that's the answer. That's why Epic is winning right now. That's why Universal is winning right now. And this was a huge gamble. And I'm going to say something else too. The reason that Disney is facing the situation they have, twofold. One, because they mismanaged Star Wars so badly. If they had done Star Wars correctly, Epic would not be eating their lunch. If Star Wars was as awesome as the Harry Potter stuff or as awesome as the Epic stuff, Disney would not be able to keep people out of the parks. And number two, losing Harry Potter. What, 15 years ago, however long it's been now, losing Harry Potter, the theme park rights, because they did not fight hard enough to get them. That's also a huge part of why Disney is in the shape they are. Panel, any final thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Star Wars has been mismanaged to this point so much that even the possibility of erasing the sequel trilogy may not be enough to bring all the fans back. There's a fan base. It's limited. It's diminished greatly from what it once was, and I hate that. I hate it because I was somebody who absolutely loved, dear Lord, the original trilogy. Look at this. I got the box set right here. I certainly, I think it makes it even harder when I go into Galaxy's Edge and see the potential that it could have been. When I think of the fact that Disney actually wrote in the backstory of the Halcyon, which was the galactic space cruiser hotel thing that people were able to go on, pay $6,000 for 2 nights. Yes, really, really expensive. But in the backstory, they actually put in there the cruise that they should have been on, which was the honeymoon of Han Solo and Princess Leia. Can you imagine? I've always said this. Imagine if people pay that much money. But 2 weeks before they left for their destination, they got something from Disney in the mail that said, this is a special surprise, but we want to invite you to be a special guest of Princess Leia and Han Solo as they go on their honeymoon excursion, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's what Star Wars fans wanted. And then if they would have had an excursion to any planet that they would have seen in a Star Wars movie, or even an adjacent planet, they could have said, well, this is where people on Coruscant always go to vacation or something like that. It would have been so much better. There's 1,000 things that they could have done, and they did everything wrong.
Didn't they just add the John Williams track to the Galaxies?
Yeah.
And there was a few people that were on YouTube showing that, and they were emotional. And that's just having that soundtrack in that one little thing, and they're crying, and I feel the energy. I'm like, I would be crying too. I mean, the minute I walked into Hogsmeade, I burst in tears because I'm walking into the film of the series that I love and I adore, because I'm a Harry Potter fan, if you don't know. So, I mean, I don't understand how they could have done this to you guys. I mean, I'm not big on Star Wars.
I had a very visceral reaction the first time I walked into what you're looking at right now. When I walked into and I'm not the biggest Mario fan, but I am a Mario fan. One of the first games that I ever played in my life on a stand-up video game machine console was Donkey Kong, which was the very first introduction of Mario. And then you walk into this land, and you're like it is an emotional reaction. It is like, and the coolest thing about this intellectual property of Mario is it hits every generation, because they keep coming out with new stuff that's good stuff, and the new movies are amazing, and it's what people want. Who cares? I mean, like, it's different for story reasons, but
this theme park itself evokes emotions. So just get yourself a gadget that has like a tissue box holder and have it ready for when you walk into Isle of Berk or Nintendo World. It's like, oh my God.
Well, let me ask you guys this. So, when we look at this, is Disney planning anything with Encanto or with the Cars attraction? Like, is there anything that's going to even come close to what Epic's already done? And I think the answer is no.
Absolutely not.
We saw Big Thunder. What did they do with Big Thunder Mountain Railroad? Down for 18 months. They added some lighting effects.
Something that catches fire. That's...
yeah, it's real hot attraction these days, folks. This is why Epic's winning. This is why Disney is down. The entire state of Florida maybe should be saying thank you, Universal, because it seems like Universal Studios and their very aggressive, optimistic, risk-taking maneuvers with their theme parks to go all in. And one day, I expect that gate that you're looking at right there to be Zelda, right? You'll go through Donkey Kong and Zelda's on the other side. I think it's coming, folks.
There's a lot of Easter eggs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This kind of effort from Universal is lifting the entire tourism industry of Florida, along with so many of our great hotel owners and managers and restaurateurs and all of you out there in Florida, all of the Floridians, making a great place for people to come visit. Way to go, way to go. And Disney, get your mousy act together, or else you're going to fall back even more behind Epic Universe.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.